What's up guys, my name is XANAA and hi, how's it going? Today I'm gonna be hanging myself with a Wii remote and nunchuck as I'm gonna be playing 6th Gen Undercover with a stock car only. First off, I'll be playing through the game on medium mode, and if I ever get stuck at some point I'll lower down the difficulty. I'll only lower the difficulty down to easy of that event, and then I'll move it back to medium again. Then second off, there are 4 starter cars to choose from, and I'll be picking the Eclipse since it's the best starter car. And one last thing that should be pretty self-explanatory, I'm not ever allowed to buy another car or upgrade the Eclipse since that would defeat the purpose of the challenge. But any event that the game forces you to drive another vehicle is allowed since there is no way around having to do certain driver jobs. So let's dive into the action. So of course, whenever you start the game, you do your opening introduction event in the Lamborghini, and once we beat the event, we get taken to the screen where we buy our starter car. And we'll select an event. We'll start off with Uptown Sprint. And we blaze through a first event without any issues. And then next we do this other sprint race, and once more without any problems we blitz through the event and win. Then we go to Harbor Speedway, and this is just a short simple event. We then do both these sprint races without any challenge and go to the Diamond Bridge sprint and beat it without any problems. Then we do this quick bounty event and do this outrun event. We easily shake them off and head to this timed circuit event. After beating the timed circuit, we do this photo challenge, and after doing a small run up, we're able to pass the event. Then we pass this tall booth event and do this highway battle event. This is where things start getting a bit more tricky because our car is absolutely not able to reach a top speed quick enough to challenge the opponent. And so I kept losing because he kept outpacing me. Keeping up with the AI took a few attempts until I had good RNG and was able to keep up and eventually pass him though. Then we do this wanted wreck event and beat it effortlessly and move on to the first driver job. After we beat it, we move on to another highway battle, and once more it's a bit of a struggle just to have a good start to the event. Once more the AI will have an overpowered start compared to you, but you just have to keep trying until you get a good enough opportunity to beat him. And then we do another photo challenge. This one was a bit more challenging, and I got close a few times until I drove back past this bridge and gave myself a ton of run up in order to pass the turn with enough top speed. Then we do this wanted escape event and beat it without any issues, and then we move on to the sprint race, and after we beat this sprint race we do an outrun event with Carmen. We once again outrun Carmen without any issues and move on to the next event. We do this wanted wreck event, tag 4 different cops, and then evade them at the usual spot. Then we do this tall booth event, and once we beat it, we progress to the next driver job event. After we beat the driver job, we head to this sprint race, and after beating the sprint race, we head into this wanted wreck, and once we tag all the cops, we pass on to the next event. It's another highway battle. This one actually gave me the least trouble as I beat it on my first try, and then we do the sprint race. Once we beat the sprint race, we head into the third driver job, the run. Once more, we drive from A to B without dying, and then we move on to the next few events. We do this tall buff event, and after we beat it, we go to this wanted bounty event. After racking up enough monies, we evade the cops and do this sprint event and this tall buff event. Without any issues, we pass both events and move on to these 2 takedown events. First off is Hector, and after a few painfully slow sequences of events, we finally take him out. As for Zack, we take him out in a little less time, and then we do this outrun event. After effortlessly beating it, we do this wanted wreck, and once we pass 2 roadblocks, we'll go to this photo challenge. When first passing the camera, we won't be able to reach the required amount of speed to pass the event, but if we drive quite a bit past it and then approach it once more at a higher speed, we're able to beat the event. Then we do another driver job. We go to the freeway and just mess around with the cops for a few minutes until Rose tells us we can go to our safe house again. We then do a timed circuit event and a wanted wreck event, and after beating those 2, we do another highway battle. Once more, the first few attempts I'd struggle, but every time I'd quit out of the event and re-entered it, it basically gave me more of a fighting chance until I beat it. And then we do this lap knockout. You can definitely feel the AI getting stronger, but all we need to do is just maintain our speed and we'll be fine. We then do a wanted wreck event and we have to tag 12 cops. This was completely painful to do and it was just torture trying to shake them off like they're lice or something, and after beating it, we do these 2 driver jobs. In bait and switch, we just have to drive to this point of the map and a decoy will take over, and then in redline we have to pick up this package and take it to our safe house. Then we do a sprint race, and although we fell back at the beginning, we eventually climb back to first. Then we do a wanted escape. Once passing 7 spike strips, we evade the cops and move on to the next event, Outrun Carmen. This can be a really tricky event to pass as it can also just be a nightmare to complete. But in my instance, I was lucky enough to be able to outrun Carmen and take out the Chinese mob without any problems. Then we do this highway battle. Once again, I had no problems beating the event and we move on to the next driver job, Grand Theft 5-0. This event felt fantastic to play as I was no longer forced to play in with this horrible stock piece of garbage, and yeah, just take the opponents out and we then do this wanted bounty event. This one was pretty simple, and after we beat it, we do the sprint race. We then do this timed circuit, and yeah, we beat it, and then we do this wanted bounty. We reach the bounty and evade the police. Then we have 2 driver jobs available, and I chose the fugitive. And the bus is green. Oh god, we're so slow. Anyway, just about as I was gonna pass the event, a roadblock and a helicopter appeared, so yeah, I then had to evade those until I eventually did. Then we do Hornet's Nest. Same event as usual, we drive to the police office, drop off a package, and then go back to our safe house. Then I did this outrun event and these 2 circuit races, and while most of this isn't really all that challenging, it's just such a tedious process. Now this is where things get interesting. We do the sprint race, and this was a pretty simple event even though the traffic was a nightmare. And here comes the hard part. We're unable to do this photo challenge regardlessly because this car simply can't achieve the required amount of speed to pass this event. So we have to do the other 2. So then I did this highway battle. This one was a pain in the ass and I had to restart several times until I eventually got lucky enough and was able to pass him. And then we have to do this tall buff. My first few attempts were a bit messy, so I kept restarting the event until I got further, but it is at this point where we hit a roadblock. No matter how well I optimize getting to this point, it's simply not possible to pass this event. And so for this one event, I lowered the difficulty down to easy. Without any issues, we're able to pass the event, and then I decided to increase the difficulty back to normal again. Now I had the other problem of being extremely underranked, and so I had to do this driver job. What we do is alert the cops and then take the crooks out. After doing so, we move on to this driver job. Steal Chawu's car. Okay, we tag the cops and go to his house or whatever. We've now played 2/3 of the game and we start with this lap knockout and this sprint race. They're both fine events, and then we move on to this wanted escape event. Now this is literally just... you can't beat this until the 6-minute timer is run out, so I just go to the bridge and wait until the timer runs out. Listen, it's this or having to reach a 6-digit bounty, so I'd rather do this and just get a quick drink or a quick snack while I'm at it. Then first off, we do an outrun event and get it over with pretty quickly, and then we do this circuit race and this sprint event. I fell behind from the start, but eventually caught the leaders up to beat them. Then we do this wanted wreck and pass through 8 roadblocks, and then we have to do this other wanted wreck in which we have to destroy 12 cop cars. The other events are simply not possible to beat, since one of them is again a photo challenge with a demanded speed to reach that we just can't obtain. And then the other is a tall buff event that we're just too slow for. So once we destroy those cop cars, we move on to another few takedown missions. Let's start off by taking down Nickel, and once we do so, we also take down Rose. Rose is just outright annoying to take down, but we get there eventually. Then it's G-Mac's turn, and yeah, this wasn't difficult, and it also took forever. Then first off, we do this outrun event, and once we pass this event, we do this timed circuit race and do this sprint race. After beating both, Again, the tall buff is impossible, and the other pursuit event also isn't really possible as far as I'm concerned. We just can't reach a high enough speed in order to obtain some of the infractions we'd have to get. And so we do this wanted bounty instead. After eventually reaching the bounty, I wanted to do this highway battle, but this absolutely isn't possible to beat, so we have to do the other 4 events. We do this sprint race and this timed circuit race, and after we beat those 2, we do this wanted escape. I eventually beat it, and then we do this wanted wreck. Yeah, this also dragged on forever and it was just painful. And then finally, a change of pace. We have a driver job. Betrayed. It's this one, yeah, well, in case you're unfamiliar, you just have to drive this Porsche from A to B to the safe house. And when we just do so, it's on to the final event.
Now look what you've done.
So, in the final event, we have to take down Chase.
Hey, come here, let me tell you a little secret.
She doesn't get stuck, and so with a slow-ass car, we have to chase her all over the map. What I ended up doing is restarting and cutting her off until she drove by. And then I made my moves, and once we take her down, that's it. It's over. We've done it. And thoughts, feelings, verdict, strong emotions. This challenge was absolutely terrible. You should never experience playing this game the way I have, and you should definitely enjoy playing it properly how you normally would, and have a good time with it. So that's gonna be it. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, share a video with a friend, and yeah, done with this for the next couple of months. Peace out!